Hello, welcome to Night's Arcade. I'm Sleepless Night, and we're in Hardspace Shipbreaker again. Oh, I can't tell you how good it feels to finally be playing this game on stream. 6 days now to the full release, till it releases out of early access. I've been playing this game for just short of 2 years. It releases into early access in 6 days, and I will be playing it when it releases into early access as well. But, of course, 2 days after that, Sniper Elite 5 releases. So, you know, I'm also going to be playing that. There's going to be lots of stuff. I'm just, you know, I've been away from streaming for a while. I'm just glad to be back. I'm excited, even about the handprint on the window. Everything's cool. Bro, you're late by a millisecond. Now you do this. I'm not late. Hey, Winnie P, how you doing, buddy? How is whatever day of the week it is treating you? Wednesday, isn't it? It's Wednesday. Right, that's cool. Right. Check our equipment at the beginning of the day. Beginning of the day. I mean, I don't need to do any of those. Like, at this level, at level 30, at rank 30, like, I've got all the upgrades I could possibly wish for all of these tools, which is why I've now got 161,625 links tokens, because I've got nothing to spend them on anymore. I've gotten all the updates that I can. So they don't really need, you know, they don't really need doing, but let's... I've got so many repair kits, let's just... Every now and again, I mean, you know, from time to time, I'm not going to bother with the demo charges. From time to time, I'll pick a bunch of repair kits up in, you know, I'll pick a repair kit or two up in I guess, lower level ships, I was going to say, but I don't really work on those anymore. But you do get them as part of your the sort of goals that you go through, the salvage goals that you go through as you salvage ships. But every now and again, I'll go to the kiosk and just go and just buy an absolute ton of them. So let's see what we got in the shipyard today. Yes, Wednesday, and it's good. Finishing dishes, so I can go back to streaming and watching you stream, both at the same time. Multitasking on a level I'm not capable of there, mate. So there is a heavy cargo Gecko. Heavy cargo Gecko in the place. But that should still be there. Let's what have we got? Level 9. We've got level 9 station hopper mackerel. Let's... Well, there's an exolab mackerel, I guess. It's a level 8. And we should still have that heavy cargo Gecko there. And if we haven't, I'll just restart and we'll get it again. Anatoly! Any tips for beginners that would take a lot of errors to learn? Nothing springs to mind off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that as I go through, I'll come up with lots and lots of things. One of the things that's sort of briefly mentioned... Oops. One of the things that's sort of briefly touched on, I think Weaver says, tethers are your friend. Yes, they are. Use tethers wherever possible. Don't try to salvage every single bolt and light that you can off these ships, because, you know, you'll be there forever. And a lot of the smaller stuff, I mean, this is the kind of thing you'll learn as you go along, but a lot of the smaller stuff, it requires more time to remove it. Like, it costs you more in time to take it off than the thing is worth. So, you know, but, you know, you'll learn this as you go along. Little things like that. But if anything, a lot of the time these things occur to me as I'm doing stuff. So I'm going to do an exolab. You are selecting a ship lower than your current rank. This will result in lower profits. Yeah, I know that. But frankly, if I could select a level 4, like a hazard level 4 at this point, I'd do that just so that I can show the people in the stream, but you won't let me, so there you go. And welcome to the stream, Anatoly. My OCD will go through the roof. I know, right? I know exactly how you feel. Like, when I first started doing this... Of course, the game was quite different then. Like now, look, you see the barge boots up and then the processor and the furnace boot up. That didn't used to happen. They were all online when you came out. In fact, the barge was very different when I first started. It was very much smaller, and it was only like a single plane before. But yeah, a couple of, there'll be a few things that occur to me as I go around.
Account credit applied.
Everyone's always telling me to switch my lights on because I don't use them really, so. Meow. I'll just get rid of this cage because, although I'm wondering if I have to depress through the glass there, which I don't like doing because it funnels it through too small a place, but fecking demo charges, god damn it. Hate demo charges. This is the thing. So when they added demo charges is the thing that stopped me from competing in the weekly race, because I used to be pretty good at it. And it stopped me from competing in the weekly... Oh, there goes the railgate. Oh, we just missed the railgate firing. Boom. Sorry, I just picked up the interference in my headset. I was like, oh, there goes the railgate. Boosh. So yeah, one of the things that sort of stopped me competing in the weekly race was that in the race, literally every second counts. Can we get through that with a... There we go. There we go, that's better. Yeah, in the race, literally every second counts. And once they added the demo charges, there were too many tools, so they had to add the tool wheel.
Credits transferred.
And what that did was it slowed me down only by a few seconds because they've got this tool wheel now, whereas I could just flick straight between one tool and another, and it was so much better when you could do that. And you can still do that if you're willing to reconfigure your controller, but I've tried several times and I've never found a configuration that really works for me, because I've not ever found anything that I'm willing to live without. That second demo charge pushed the ship off kilter, look. Alright, let's go and see what state the pressure. I'm doing this quite slowly, by the way, Anatoly.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
It is coming to console, Mini P. It is coming to console, but they've given us no date on when it's coming to console yet. As soon as I find that out, trust me, as soon as we get a date for when it's going to be on console, I will make a video and I'll mention it. You guys will be the first to know. Yeah, there was no demo charge for the first year and a half of the early access. There was no demo charge in this for a long time. It's relatively recent, and like I say, I used to play the weekly race, and I used to score quite highly. I used to do quite well. I used to be up there on the leaderboard from time to time, on the top, right at the top of the leaderboard. But well, when I say right at the top, I don't mean like top 3. I mean I think like number 14 or something at places like that. But I was doing okay. But then they added the demo charges, and with that came the weapon wheel. Oh, I don't want to loosen that because I've got to see if I can find it. No, atmo regulator doesn't work. So this is one of the things, I mentioned this a lot yesterday, but this is one of the things that they're going to change, apparently. Oh, there's an atmo regulator that works. Look at that. Wait, now I have to go and melt the door off the cockpit so that doesn't close to seal the breach. So we've actually got an atmo regulator that works. Look at that. And that means... In fact, I'll do that while I'm here. Cut the other one off. I don't think there were any doors on that. Right. What that means is that we don't have to explosively decompress the ship. So that's helpful for a start. Although it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Okay. Right. Okay. The ship's still got air in it, guys. As I will demonstrate. There we go. Oh, wait. Hang on to something. Hold on tight. Told you! You goddamn atmospheric regulator didn't work. Oh, great. Okay. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So yeah, one of the things that they changed,
Credits transferred.
2 or 3 updates ago, one of the things that they changed was that they made it so that at the higher levels, none of the atmospheric regulators work. So they're all busted, and you have to explosively decompress the ship. The problem is that they just left it at that, right? And they didn't really go into any more detail. They kind of didn't offer you any ways around it, really. So sometimes, like when I do the heavy cargo Gecko in a minute, you'll see, because that's like one of my specialist ships. So I usually I can decompress them safely. But with a lot of ships, you don't get that option. There is no way to you'll come across ships all the time at the higher levels that there is no way to depressurize them safely. And one of the things they said they were going to change for the main release next week is that they wanted to get around that. They didn't want to punish higher level players just because they'd gotten to a higher rank. What they wanted to do was, yes, the atmo regulators won't work, but they wanted to give some other way, so that there's always a way to decompress the ship safely. You've just got to figure out what it is. And at the moment, that's not the case. So look, I'm not doing what I said I was doing. I want to get rid of these goddamn solar sails. Just looking, they had a lot of new things, like the tools you can salvage. Holding your hand is also new for me. Oh, the being able to hold your hand on something has always been there. That always was. They just didn't tell you. They didn't. It wasn't something that they advertised, but yeah, you've always been able to do that. Well, I've been playing this since it released into early access, and you've always been able to do that. But it's not something that a lot of people do. But when you're depressurizing a ship, it's a good idea. Right, that's depressed now, so... This is a good shortcut. This is a good beginner's tip. But I'm not going fast here, because I'm just trying to explain a few things. But as you get to the higher levels, when tethers aren't so much at a premium, so like when you've got more tethers, rather than spending the time doing this and releasing everything, when you've got a lot of stuff like that, just attach tethers between them, and they'll sort themselves out. Not like the chair, because that's only like half a second, but the problem with doing this, though, is that sometimes these can come off a little bit hard. So we do that. Let's get rid of all those. And then when we remove the cockpit, what we'll do, because we've removed those sides, is that a lot of that stuff will just come out as we move the cockpit. And then we haven't got to painstakingly drag it out one by one. Hey, Mordred, how you doing, buddy? How goes it with you, sir? I released that. Let's release the tailpiece. I want to release the tailpiece so I can get into the crawl space. Yoink. I think the frustrating thing when you first start playing this is that you don't get any sense of how much easier the game's going to get. And, you know, more difficult in some ways, but in a lot of ways easier, because things like tethers and the speed of your thrusters and things like that you upgrade.
5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter, before they turn the lights out on you.
Thank you, Weaver. Oh, God's sake, who's that? Your split saw is obviously a lot faster than your stinger, but you've got to be a bit wary how and when you use it. But yeah, just remember that tethers are your friend.
Credits awarded.
There's a tendency to underuse them. And when I first started learning to use tethers better, what I like about the barge is that nowadays you can take stuff out of there that's not supposed to be in it. When I started using tethers a lot more, actually, was when I started doing the race, because you kind of had to get stuff out of there. To get it done really fast, and to do everything as quickly as possible, you kind of had to use the tethers.
Accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Boosh. But as I say, I'm not going for speed at the moment. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. When you come across these on a ship, these cable junctions, it's tempting to just yank out the cable, but if you do that,
Material deposited.
you end up with short circuits and stuff. So what you really need to do is yank out the junctions there. This is particularly true if there's a battery pack, a power cell sitting on top of one of those junctions. Because if you try yanking that off by itself with the grapple, you'll get electrocuted. And more importantly, so will most of the equipment. But if you... Right, see like there's a battery, a power cell, right? Now if I use the grapple to remove that, as it's indicating that I can, it will arc all in here and ignite any fuel cells. It might do damage to the things that are on the other side of the wall, right? In fact, I'll show you, just for the sake of clarity, I'll show you. So if I just try to remove that, oh, I must have disconnected that one. Didn't do the thing that it normally does. But quite often you get they arc across and cause damage, but if you remove the yellow panel behind them, they just come away. But of course, now that I want it to do that, it's making me out to be a liar. Oh. These components are actually, you'll see when the game releases, if you're planning on playing it, they play into the story, so they're actually part of the overarching story, the little components that you can pick up. See, the same is true with coolant canisters. You can just attach that to that, and they'll pull each other away from the hull.
Valuable object processed.
Yeah.
Credits deposited.
Oh, I hate that.
Salvage destroyed.
Right.
Please revisit your
So you see these panels, these that you put thrusters on, right? Quite often your nacelles are attached to panels exactly like this, right? Now with nacelles, you can, because the outer part is made of nanocarbon, you can use the split saw and just zip right through it, and it makes the whole process a lot faster. But with some components, and the solar sails are one of them, and I just blanked on it, with some components, that plate behind the cut point is actually cuttable. It's not nanocarbon, it's aluminium, so you can just zip right through it. Yeah, so I've destroyed that top solar sail because I forgot that that's a thing. Oh, I hate these.
1 minute left.
You've got a really pain in the ass to get that to wiggle out.
Weaver out.
Thank you, Weaver. There we go. That's easier. That's easier. Oh, that's a pain. See, that's got to go in the furnace now because I wrecked it.
Count credit applied. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Okie doke. Don't get more solar sails or anything on there, are we? I mean, all these need to go in the furnace, but as long as you've loosened all the power cells, you'll be all right. There's no need. We got all the power cells off. All right, that's that shift done. Can you not just tether the objects together and use propulsion deal to throw them at the same time? Yes, you can. You can, well, daisy chain them, yes. And quite often that is useful in parts. Like if you're trying to empty out a large hole that's got a wide opening and you daisy chain them together like that, then you power propulsion the first one, so you grapple charge push the first one and the rest of them should come out. The problem with that is that push is quite powerful, so if a lot of those are electronic components or they're easily damaged, like coolant canisters are really fragile, and if that goes, it'll damage anything else in the vicinity. If a fuel tank ruptures, it'll blow half the ship up. So, you know, the problem with daisy chaining stuff is that, one, it doesn't always work, because if it's really difficult to explain if you haven't played the game, but if an object turns in such a way as it's falling so that the tether is attached to the other side, what you'll get is that braking strain red thing, and then the tether will eventually break, and all that other stuff that you think has gone into the barge or into the processor or wherever, it's not there. It's just floating around in space, waiting for you to go boom and send a fuel tank, and it clips one of these bits of debris and explodes. So yes, daisy chaining is a thing that you can use, but it doesn't always work terribly well, and it can be a bit dangerous if you're not careful, is the answer to that question. How am I doing today? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay today. Thank you very much, Mordred. Thank you for asking.
Good morning, Shipbreaker. Lynx mandates a maximum of 8 hours of sleep. Any extra sleep time will be docked from the next pay cycle.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Right, so that was a really poor shift. But this next one should be much better. Okay. Oh, we don't need any more tethers yet. Right, now, see if I pull this cockpit away so that I can get inside. If I attach a tether to the front and then tether that to the mast, the jack, what it'll do is it will pull that away, and all the stuff that's loose inside it, you'll see, stays where it is. There we go, look, see? Exactly like that. Okay? And then I'll disconnect all those tethers. The daisy chaining isn't working here, by the way, because I had to disconnect the tether to stop that from moving. But also because there are a lot of electronic components, and although that can work, I mean, one of the reasons to do this is that you can just float over the top and do that.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Especially with these is not a big problem because they don't really damage anything.
Salvage secured. Account
Right.
credit applied.
Gotta come in from the other end on that, haven't I? Yes. Right, when I pull this side away and I tether it into the processor, look. Let's pull it over there. Don't want it to get pulled into the furnace. Should leave all that, see, all those bits of rammel behind. And then, you know, depending on how much you care about the mess that's in the barge, you can just blast it all in there.
Salvage is secured.
Because the cable junctions don't really go anywhere. You get rid of all the power packs. Sweet.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited. Salvage gained. Credits awarded.
Alright, let's go in here. I hate the ones with cable junctions in. It always drives me nuts because you've got all sorts of bits of little tiny bits of detritus just floating around inside the ship, which drives me bananas. So you can cut a lot of this with a split saw for speed, as long as you are very careful what you're doing. Quite often, if you get stuck somewhere, you'll see this on the large cargo Gecko that I'm planning to do in a minute. When we finish with this thing, you'll see it a bit more often. But quite often if you get stuck, like in a small space, sometimes there are small spaces that are difficult to float through, but you can do this and sort of crawl like Spider-Man your way through, if you like. It can be helpful. Boink.
Valuable objects processed.
Early on, try to learn what all the components are worth. Because, like, for example, one of the things I see a lot of cutters leaving behind are these airlock consoles. Right, and every one of these is worth 45,000 credits. But then there are other things that you'd think, well, that must be worth a fortune, and it's just not. Oh, that's loose now. There, I want to get that out of the way. There we go. See, most of that doesn't want to be down in the barge, but it's worth so little, there's no point. There's no point taking the time sending it where it's supposed to go if you're trying to do things in a hurry.
Credits deposited.
Now this is a pain because there are solar sails on the other side of this, but they're difficult to get to because of that thing. Quite a debt. Yeah, $1.25 billion. You start off with $1.25 billion of debt when the game begins. Used to be just 1 billion even, but I guess they looked at that and went, well, it doesn't seem very realistic that it'd be exactly $1 billion. So it's now so yay, they increased it. It's now $1.25 billion.
Valuable objects processed. Credits awarded.
All right. All right. So, like these things will daisy chain. Oh no, that didn't work. Forget that. See, I accidentally tethered it to the wrong thing.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Oh, that's another reason I hate debris. Look, I want to just flip that out there really, really quickly and send it in, and it grabbed a piece of detritus that was kicking around and pulled it. Which was okay this time, but might have damaged something. For example, if that had gotten flung into this thing, into the radiation filter, it would have caused a giant flouting. That's a word now, I've decided. A big floating cloud. of radioactive particles in the bay, the damage that they can do is sort of exacerbated by
Salvage deposit accepted.
things like electricity and fire and stuff like that. So it just gets worse. Oops. Power cell.
Salvage
Power cell.
credits deposited.
Where's the goddamn... Oh, maybe it's in there. Must be in there. There you go. Sorry, I was looking for the reactor. Did I fail to cut one of those? What happened? Why is that not loose? Okay, that's really strange. I've never seen that happen before. Ugh. Come on. Oh, I know why. I know why that won't come loose. Because at the beginning, when I usually remove this damn thing, I didn't, did I? I didn't remove it. So it is holding the ship together. Well, the cockpit. Where's the other one? Is that loose now? Yep. If you remember right at the beginning, that's normally the first thing I do after removing any loose stuff off the outside of the ship.
Valuable
Now that'll come away.
credits
Yeah, there we go.
deposited.
That's better. Okay, reactor. Right, this is a class 1 reactor, so these are tiny. And quite easy to remove without any real danger. You need to get rid of them as quickly as possible, but they're quite easy to get rid of.
Salvage deposit
Fairly straightforward to remove.
transferred.
The big ones, which you'll see when we do the other ship in a minute, the big reactors, the class 2s,
Salvage
they're quite difficult, depending on what ship they're in, because every ship has those reactors aligned in a different way. So all the big ships have the class 2 reactors aligned differently. And the one that we're going to do...
5 minutes left of this ship before they turn the lights out on you. Either that or leave her out.
the one that we're going to do is... they are aligned sort of horizontally at the rear of the ship, so at the stern, and can be a bit of a pain. But I'll show you the way that I remove them. It isn't the fastest way, but it is, in my opinion, the safest. I've never seen anybody else remove them the way I do, but in my opinion, it's the safest way. When you're doing a race, of course, you don't always have time to do things safely. Oh crap, that was aluminium. My bad. Aluminium roof panel. Right.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
So now, if you can get this sort of angle, it makes this bit kind of fast. Once you've got the first one of these out, I should have started at that end really, but there you go.
Salvage
Oopsie.
deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Come back, little computer cabinet. There we go.
Salvage secured.
Yeah, if you can get a better sort of angle from the top to do this, so take the floor off, take the roof off. Same thing when you're doing the early ships like the station hoppers, because they're just seats.
Salvage
So
secured.
this is even easier when you're removing all the seats out of the passenger mackerels. You just take the floor off, take the roof off, and then you can do this. You can disconnect all the seats and then just blast them through the floor. And it takes no time at all. But with computer terminals, you've got to be a little bit more careful, because if they hit each other or anything on the side, it fries the terminal and then you lose the value of the terminal. But in the station hopper mackerels, you're just removing seats most of the time, so it's not such a big problem.
Credits deposited.
If I pass level 3 before we get pulled in, so in the next 2 minutes, then I won't bother coming out and finishing it off.
Credit applied.
It's just not worth it. Once you've pulled everything valuable off it, there's no point coming back out for anything else.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credit transferred. Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
See, like, that's quite valuable. The casing for the radiation filter is quite valuable, but it'll take me longer than a minute and a half to remove it, so...
Account credit applied.
Ah. Is that floor free? Oh, yeah. Well, that's that.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Like the crew beds. Oh, this is not going to be enough to push me over the top, is it?
Salvage deposit accepted.
Where'd that go?
Credit
Time is winding down, cuz.
Yeah, I know, Weaver. Chill out.
Let's finish strong.
God damn it.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Ah! Yeah. The last bit of value is in this. And I don't think I've got time to remove it now. You can just try to cut it free, but you're more than likely to create bits of confetti and damage something else. Let's see, though. We might do it. Don't think so, but... No, come on. Go, go, go. No! No! That would have taken me off level. That would have taken me over level 3. Didn't quite make it. Right. Anyway, to hell with it. I'm not going back out in the bay to just tidy up those kind of...
Shipbreaker. This is your daily wake-up call.
Because you have to make those calls to start with. Like... So if you look at the amount of money that I pay every shift... Kitters! How you doing, Kitters? Look, there you are. How are you? Yeah, no, I've lost my train of thought now. So if you look at the amount of money that I pay every shift, first of all, the amount of interest I pay on my debt is lower because I haven't got $1.25 billion of debt anymore. And secondly, I don't pay rental charges for my grappler or my demo charges, the scanner, the split saw, the helmet, and the suit. So you get charged rental charges for all of those. And as you upgrade them, one of the last things that you'll unlock to upgrading your bits and pieces is to actually buy them. So I now own all my own equipment. So I own all of that, so they can't charge me. But when you start off playing this, every shift is going to cost you about 500,000 credits, right? So when you do, this is especially true when you're doing the low level ships, when you first start off, because a lot of those ships, they'll only be worth about 1.5 million credits. There's only about 1.5 million to 3 million in value in the entire ship, and every shift that you're out there costs you 500,000. Now, it wouldn't cost me. I'd probably still be able to make a little bit of money out of what's out there, but it's not really worth it. So It's just not worth my going back out there and continuing with that ship. So we'll get a new one. And hopefully that cargo Gecko is still there. No! No, it's not! Why have they refreshed the entire list? They didn't used to do this either. This one here, you see the Atlas Nomad cargo hauler, right? That is a ghost. See the little icon there? Indicates that that's a ghost ship. I'm exhausted but good. Work has kicked into full gear and leaving with next to no time to do anything fun. But not tonight. Tonight I watch and relax. Well, it's good to have you here, kitters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out and I'm going to see if I can get... I'll back out to the menu and see if I can get... See if I can get it to give me a... To give me a cargo Gecko, a large cargo Gecko when I go back out. If not, I'll just do a smaller... I'll do another small ship.
Hello Shipbreaker. Please enjoy this inspirational message. The last 10% of a job takes as much energy as the first 90%, so think of what it takes to hit 110% and aim for that.
Thank you, Control. Control is apparently going to get a new voice as well. I didn't like... I mean, that's... See, now they haven't refreshed it, have they? No. All right, let me... Okay, so let's go out. I'll probably not break down this entire thing, but I'll show you what a ghost ship is like. I don't particularly care for these. They weren't... I don't think they were a really great addition to the game. But as if it wasn't complicated enough trying to decompress a ship when the... Oops, let's just replenish my fuel and my tethers. As if it wasn't difficult enough trying to decompress a ship when the atmospheric regulators are all damaged and none of them work. The ghost ships are ships with AI nodes. This is part of the story that you kind of unlock as you go along. Right, but there are little AI nodes spread throughout this ship. And they can control certain elements of the ship while I'm in there. So they will... You'll hear doors shutting and opening and closing, and they can repressurize the ship. Even if the atmo regulator is working, they can repressurize the ship at any time. Oh, that's a processor. That's what I get for not watching. So yeah, they can repressurize the ship at any time they like. So the idea is that you go in and you vaporize every AI node that you find on the ship. The problem is that a lot of the AI nodes have attached themselves to fuel canisters, and almost certainly at least one of them will be attached to the reactor. Oh look, shipping containers. Right, this has got 3... So this is an Atlas class. For those of you who didn't see it yesterday, right? This is an Atlas class. This is actually the newest class of ship that they added to the game. It comes in several configurations. Right, this one, some of them only have 2 engines, some of them have 4, some of them, this one has 3, but they added these ships with these massive Atlas engines. The problem with these is that to disassemble them, you'll see in a moment. So we'll start by doing it. We'll start with one of the engines, because God, the pull on that damn furnace is evil. So we'll start with one of the engines. And I'll warn you now that I am anticipating losing at least one of the side engine panels to the furnace, because the pull of that furnace is insane. Like, you've got to be really careful you don't get sucked into it. If you get too close, you cross those little yellow and black lines, you'll have quite a job escaping the furnace. But it will also pull, because when I disassemble this engine, whoosh, it will blast the sides. Oh, AI node. Look, there's an A. See, look at that. So if you look at the systems, we look at the objects, there's an AI node attached to that coolant tank, which we've got to vaporize, right? So, now you can zap the thing off, but since that's only a coolant canister, it's worth next to nothing. Just send it into the furnace. See? AI node destroyed, for which I got 2,500 credits, but the thing was only worth, the coolant unit was only worth 672 credits, and in this game that is nothing. That's like, that's the amount of value you wipe off the bottom of your shoe when you go back into your hab at the end of each night. Is just ridiculous. So I don't know if you can hear, but I can hear them doing things inside the ship. They're doing things. Boosh. Right, so the thruster nozzle needs to go on down to the barge. Sometimes you just have to grab it again to steer it. Now, so the problem with the Atlas engines is that in order to disassemble them, you have to reach the fuel cutoff switch. Right? And the fuel cutoff switch is at the other end of the engine. And the only way to get there is through here. Right? But you can't get through here until you've removed the thruster. The problem is that to remove the thruster, you have to sever the fuel lines, which starts a cascade reaction, which will engulf the engine in flames. And to stop it from exploding, you have to then race through the flames to hit the cutoff switch. So, lots of fun. Now, for this, I will use demo charges. And the reason is that trying to use the split saw or the stinger very quickly, firstly, you risk damaging the thruster, which you don't want to do, because that's an expensive piece of kit. Second of all, you risk doing... It's slow, apart from anything else. Doing them one by one is slow. And once this reaction starts, you're going to need to move quite quickly. So, God damn, I hate these things. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up by attaching a tether to the end of that thruster and to the back wall of the bay. Then we're going to switch back to our demos, switch over to the trigger, detonate, and that should start pulling out the thruster. Once it does, you've got to go in here through the flames and hit the shut-off valve before the whole thing explodes. And it'll go boom and separate like that. But the problem is that this massive piece of engine has now got momentum, and it will get dragged into the furnace if you don't do something about it. So rather than pulling it straight into the processor, I'm going to try to pull it out of the way of the furnace first so it doesn't get dragged in. And once it's clear, then you can attach some lines to pull it into the processor. And that's it. I know, it's not in there yet, but it will, because those other lines will sever now. So that's how we do that. Now, let's remove these fuel tanks. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, can't get that off. Be very careful when you're cutting this, because for obvious reasons. Because that's highly explosive fuel right there. Right, there we go. Now that needs to go down to the barge, but we need to get the fuel tanks off it first. Which I can't, so why can't I? Are there nodes attached? Yeah. God damn it. So look at that, right? There are nodes attached to the center where I can't reach. So let me pull that off. Yeah, there are two AI nodes holding those fuel tanks together. And if I try to zap those, I'm very likely to get blown to pieces. So, for the sake of the expense, I say, hang the expense, and let's just send them into the furnace. Yeah, I know. See, that was quite expensive, sending the fuel tanks in there, but I knew that they'd blow apart if I tried to remove that, so... We got any more AI nodes there? Can't tell. Don't forget when you're playing this to use your jacks. The jacks that are littered about are there to help you move things around. So use them. Use them wisely. There we go. I'll pull that out of the way. And then once it's clear, you can pull them down into the processor. These things are really heavy, so it's really, really difficult to get just the right sort of amount of momentum to send them where you want to. But if you've got plenty of tethers, it's no big worry. Oh, right, I want to take the rest of these engines off so that that's done. Because the thing is, with the force that these things separate, quite often that can make the ship tilt and turn. So I'm going to try to get these done first. Boosh. Oops. Oopsie. Oh, for God's sake. Where's that going? In there. Oh! You pain in the ass. Come on. There. Gotcha. There we go. There was a lot more time than I wanted to spend on that. Any AI nodes? Nope. I don't think so. Yeah, so normally you can just pick those up, but they're not worth really anything, so... Boosh.
Cutter, there's 5 minutes remaining in this shift.
I know.
While the getting's good. Weaver out.
Thank you, Weaver. Boom. There you go.
Salvage is secure. Account credit applied.
Oops. Okay. Ah. They're really difficult to place on these because they're not. There we go. Huh? I now see why they get droids to do most of the jobs. Well, what I really want to show you is some of the big ships. That's what I might not even come out and do the rest of this ship because I really just want to show you some of the big ones because, oh, for God's sake. Idiot. Simply because those ones can be a lot of fun, even at the higher levels. And there are so many different ones, like so many vastly different ships and configurations. Because there's only so many classes, but they all come in different configurations. You know, they're not all the same. Oosh. I bet I didn't retrieve the other... Ah! No, 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 no. That was careless. Don't want to lose that. There we go. 140,000 credits worth of thruster. I don't want to fling that off into space and let it burn up in the Earth's atmosphere. That's not cool. Right, let's do this last one, and then we'll get those shipping containers out of the way. Okay, that will be okay. Yep. Whoosh. Ah, see? AI nodes again. Burn! Burn, ye bastard. Oops. That. Thruster nozzle. Oh, I don't actually know if I've got enough demo charges left to do this now. Could always go to the kiosk and get some more, but... Come on, come on. Oh, for God's sake. What a pain.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Airlock pressure levels dropping, see? They're monkeying with the air pressure. They're getting desperate now.
All right, Cutter. Wrap it up. You got about a minute left.
Yeah, I'm on it. Don't worry about it, Weaver. You always worry too much, buddy.
Airlock pressure levels increasing.
There we go.
Caution.
Cut that. Yeah. Ow, I'm on fire. Ow! Not too close to the flames. Boosh. Sorted. Right, now we need to tug that thing out of the way before it gets sucked into the furnace. I'm not going to get the thing for that, am I? No. See? Can you see how it's getting pulled towards the furnace? Pain in the ass. I should have done that cargo Gecko when it was there, but there was nobody in at the moment. There was nobody in at the time.
Today's weather report, clear and sunny, with a high of minus 270 degrees.
Lovely. Check the equipment. It's fine. What have we got? What have we got? We've got... No. How can we still not have one? Right, alright. We'll continue with that for a moment then. Fair enough. Whatever. Replenish my tethers.
Welcome to
Oops. Not the oxygen.
Thank you for your
Fuel. Oh no, look, we got it in the processor. It's okay. It worked. It worked. It went there. It's fine. Whoosh. Nah. No, clang. Okay, that should be alright. That should be fine. Let's see what we got on here. Yeah, AI node. Goddamn AI node sticking it together again. Look. There is when you come across the little data drives, there's one in particular that speaks of the machine god, which we assume is some sort of reference to these. So the deal when you find out about these quote unquote ghost ships. Wait. I might be able to fry that one, but if there's one in the middle. Don't think I can get them both. There, we got that one. I don't think I can get this one without us going boom. Oh no, I got... No. What was I saying? Oh no, I got... No, I didn't. Yeah, that's kind of what I was worried about there. Never mind. It didn't destroy a great deal. All right, so that's one of the that's one of the hazards of those things. What's the most money you've made from one ship? I don't know. 15 million, 18 million, something like that. 15 million, probably. Is about right. I would guess. It's a little bit difficult to say. Can't really... Oh, that... Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay. We pull that into the middle. Oh, there's a thruster there. There's a thruster. But, like I said, some of them are more fun than others. Like, at the lower levels... At the lower hazard levels, because this is... I can't remember what this was, 7 or 8. And most of the ships that I'm at are hazard level 9 now. And the lower hazard levels, like 4s and 5s, the mackerels there, all the atmospheric regulators work. There's not a great deal of complicated wiring and stuff like that. They're fairly straightforward and simple. You'll see, when I do this next Tuesday on the release, when it releases next Tuesday, I will be reset with everybody else, because everyone's going to get reset. So I'll be reset right back to the beginning, and we'll go through it from the beginning. And when you see those early ships, I won't be able to strip them. First of all, you won't be able to strip them quite as fast because you don't have the tools. Like the grapple strength is way, way less. The split saw range is about that, as opposed to about 300 meters. It's about 3. And the split saw range is not very good. You have to keep going back to the hab to refill with oxygen because your O2, you haven't had all the O2 upgrades and stuff like that. There's all sorts of things that make it take a lot longer in the beginning. But once you unlock the tools, you can still do those early ships, and I can clear an entire mackerel in one shift. Everything, just every single nut and bolt, done. Easy. But what they did with the last update is they removed the ability. You used to be able to tab through on the ship selection menu that I was just in. You used to be able to tab through all the different hazard levels. So you could tab back. So you could go back to hazard level 4, 3. You know, you could go all the way back from hazard level 9 all the way to hazard levels 4 and 3, and you could pick a ship from there. Let's say you log on to Shipbreaker and you go, well, I just want to kick back, clear off a little bit of my debt, and just chill out and clear my head for 15 minutes. But that's all I've got. I've only got 15, 20 minutes. Well, each shift is 15 minutes. So you don't want to start tackling a ship that would take you forever. One of the things they're introducing with the release on Tuesday is the ability to save ships, which you've never had before. Now, from Tuesday onwards, you'll be able to save a ship halfway through, turn your computer off and come back and continue with that same ship. Presumably only between shifts, though, so you've still got to be on for 15 minutes. But before, you used to be able to tab back through the ships and do a simpler one. This was also quite good for farming, like health packs and fuel and repair kits that you used to repair your equipment, because the earlier ships would have loads of repair kits on. The later ones don't have so many. But so you used to be able to tab through and get one of those early ships, but you can't do that now. They've taken that away. They've basically now they just put 8 or 9 ships in total, and you can't tab through the hazard levels. You can go and see what's the lowest hazard level they've got, but it's usually only 2 below the hazard level that you're currently at. But the early ones that are worth about 3 million, I could, if there was still the ability to tab back to those, I could clear one of those in a single shift and make 3 million. But with the bigger ships, there are lots of configurations of different ships, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, there are several different ship classes. There's the mackerels, which are the first ones they had. When you first start the game, they're only the mackerels. They're the only ships you can do. They're the tiny little ships. And of that, there are station hopper, so passenger ones and cargo ones. And even within those, they have different configurations, like layouts of seats, or maybe they've put an extra nacelle on, or, there's different layouts of the ship, even if it's the same class. But then after that, we just had geckos. Now, the geckos are really, really large, and at first, all there was a station hopper gecko, which is a big passenger ship, really big, and the cargo gecko, which is what I'm trying to do, because it was my favorite. That's my favorite ship to strip down, because it's worth about 15, 16 million, but it still take me between three to 4 shifts to strip it down completely, but it's worth quite a lot of money. And they're huge, so it's a lot of fun to do. And you get the big reactors. And the reactor, just the reactor alone on the bigger ships, like the bigger Javelin ships and the Geckos, the reactors on those ships alone are worth 3 million credits, just the reactor. So there are some pretty high price items on those ships, and it's a lot of fun to break them down. But on those, there's a Salvage runner Gecko, there's the Stargazer Gecko, which is it's a science vessel, so it's got loads and loads of sciencey equipment in it. There's the cargo one, in which you can find asteroid shards and all sorts. And then there's the Station Hopper, which is a passenger one. Then they have the Javelins now, which are the biggest ships in the game. They're really long. They're really huge. And they're probably the most difficult ships to break down because they're really complex in the way they're put together. So they can take a long, long time. And then they've added the Atlas class, which is the one that we're doing now. And they aren't adding any more ships on release, but they said they might do at a later time. So I'm tethering this to the back here, just because I want it out of the way. Let's see, there. Once it's far enough away, I can see if I can send it over there. That. Without it getting pulled into the furnace. Hopefully. Yeah, seems to be alright. I think it's too heavy. It's too heavy for me to pull out without the tethers. But yeah, there's quite a lot of variety of ships, and there is a story. There is a story to the game, but I've played through all the story that's there, so you're not seeing any of it. But when I start the game again next week, you'll see the story as it sort of unfolds. But there's also a lot of the lore of this game universe. Shit. Oh, crap. The furnace is going to have that, I think. Come on. If I didn't lose a single one of those to the furnace, I'll be impressed. Nice. So, yeah. Oh, they're attached this way. Sorry, usually you can just remove these, but... Now, you see, look. See, my split saw will go all the way down there, whereas in the early part of the game, no chance. Oh, there's another tie point there. Yeah, in the early part of the game, I'd have had to go all the way down there. I'd have to go round the ship to get that other cut point. Which doesn't sound... It's not a big deal, but it just makes everything take a lot of time. Yeah.
Interlock pressure levels increasing. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Nah. There we go. Just trying not to cut through the container itself. Okay, there we go. Now, it's possible I can just blast these down to the barge now, but... There we go. Alright, there we go. And they're telling me the atmospheric pressure levels inside the ship are still dropping, so there's still, obviously, AI nodes somewhere in here.
Pressure levels increasing.
So even if I... Yeah.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Okay. If there's an atmospheric regulator in here that works, the first thing I'll do is melt that door so they can't repressurize the ship. Oh, there you go. That was them. That's the ghosties. Yeah, the story behind those is that these are ships that have come back from the far reaches of the frontier. So these have come back from No, that ammo regulator is bust. So these ships have come back from the far reaches of the frontier, and they have these AI nodes all over them, and nobody knows why. Well, I'm getting tired of this. There you go, try shutting me in now. Now close the door, if you can. Oh, they hadn't pressurized the cockpit. Oops. Now the ship's listing. And all these crates are on fire. Yeah, alright, that wasn't my best. That wasn't my best decision all day. That was bad. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, man. Alright, I'm not sure how I'm gonna get out now. Oh, they've repressurized the cockpit again. Or I guess I have. Okay, there's a helmet. Nah. Get off. Alright. Oh no, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh, I actually died. That's only the third time that's happened on this playthrough.
Submitted for medical assistance.
So I'm gonna get cloned. Fire can cause internal suit temperatures to exceed comfort levels of the human body. You have failed in your duties. Thanks. Great.
I will say one thing. You certainly ain't afraid of dying.
That's only the third time it's happened.
You'll never pull yourself out of debt.
Just shut up, Weaver. Right. I don't need your bullshit. Actually, I do love Weaver. Everybody loves Weaver. Alright, let's do this. I'm tired of being messed around by those guys. There we go. Try repressurizing the ship now. Wow, I made a mess in here. Okay. Is there a lower deck? There's a lower deck, probably. Oh, maybe there isn't on this one. They share good tips about fire. Oops, got through the aluminium. Yeah, that's only that's the third time I've died on this playthrough. I think that's actually the most times I've died on any playthrough.
Got about
I'm getting careless, see?
Shift cutter. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Thanks, Weaver. Alright. Here we have another. Okay. Of course, one of the ways I could have avoided that happening, apart from not trying to beat the AI nodes at their own game there, was that when I got fried in the thruster a little bit earlier on, I could have gone back and got some more health. Could have got a medikit, but I didn't. Like an idiot, I thought, well, I don't normally, because I don't. You know, if you sustain 1 or 2 injuries like that during a shift, that's quite a lot.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright, we'll take off that hoist. should have some buckles on it. Oh, there's two. They're still trying to repress the ship. Oh, if there is a lower deck, they will be able to repressurize part of it, I guess, but... Let's get rid of some of this ramble. Ugh. I don't know what's on the other side of that. Alright, oh, we're good, we're good. Oops. Bit careless. There we go. Peel that away. Item. There we go. Then I gotta find out where the hell the rest of these nodes are. That's weird. I don't know what that's attached to. Okay. Alright, I didn't need to burn through that anyway. Okay. Here we go.
Cutter, we're getting down to the wire. Let's put a bow on this ship.
Yes, Weaver. Down to the wire, put a bow on it, blah blah blah. Yeah, I love Weaver. I do like Weaver, actually. He's most people's... Oh, shit. He's most people's favourite character. And after 2 years of early access, they're replacing him. They're replacing his voice, anyway. Because the devs voiced all these people, and they've now gotten a professional voiceover artist for Weaver, which... I'm not all that pleased about, because... I really like Weaver. Okay. Alright. Bing!
Good morning, Shipbreaker.
Morning.
Your allocated shift time will be commencing shortly.
Thank you, lady. Right, so my total fees in that shift were 313,400 credits, but the reason for that was because I died, so they charged me 150 grand for dying. Other than that, I don't know. My fees are like just a shade over 100,000. So, but when you start the game, they're over 500,000 per shift. It would be nice to choose what voice you'd like to hear. What, from Weaver? You can kind of pick your own character's voice, but the thing is, they don't your own characters, but they don't say much. They just kind of grunt, you know. And the employee terminal. So this is where those little bits that you pick up, right? As part of the As part of the story, I love that you can see other cutters working away, especially when you're outside. You go outside, you can see other cutters. Look, so you can see there's another bay here, there's another one here, and there are other stations here, 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 and sort of orbiting the railgate. The railgate, for those of you who are Mass Effect players, is like a Mass Effect relay, same sort of thing. But the employee terminal is where you would put parts on. So as part of the story, there's like a ship that you can fix up, or what, a ship of your own that you can kind of build by stealing parts from the other ships. And it's all right if you take the floaty bits from Weaver when they introduce the new voiceover actor. Apparently, the new voiceover artist for Weaver is a very well-known voiceover artist. That's all they've told us. They've just said that the new Weaver is a well-known VO artist, so it'd be, you know, like a Nolan North or someone like that. But I don't know. Who knows? Well, I got one file. Oh, right. Link's algorithms have detected high engagement rates with topic known as Furnace God. Engagement rates peaked at 26.4% among Shipbreaker interactions. New sticker added. The Furnace God sticker. This is good, and this is also where... Hang on. So, I'm telling you about ghost ships. Some of these are really interesting kind of messages, but most of the time, you go into the data recovery thing, this little application here. And let's see, then you decode... This is the data storage units you can find in the ships. You can decode this. Right? I don't know where that's gone. Oh, there was one. Oh, there.
Hey, babe.
Oh, that's one of the... Right, so that's one of the ones they haven't voiced yet.
The air quality has gotten worse pretty...
That's one of the ones they haven't added an actual actor voice to yet. Okay, let's see if they've got any other unread ones. Links off-site. Retest results, rail mail. As our research suggested, the last results from forcing psychologically profiled music into the helmets of all Salvage and Reclamation Division employees for the duration of their shifts has been quite promising. Our attempt at matching a specific genre of music based on each subject's psychological profile has in fact resulted in a dramatic increase in performance and productivity, in addition to a reduction in incidents of death and dismemberment by 12%. We have also noticed a number of these individuals humming while working, which is a proven expression of job satisfaction and a heightened state of well-being. Well done, team. Keep it up. Sincerely, Carson Cole.
Hey, Martin. It's Junius. I got that shipment in from Earth. Yeah, still haven't heard back from the guy on Mars about the quote. When I do, I'll let you know, but it didn't sound good. After the budget you gave me, like, it might not be an option. That's all I'm saying. That's a lot of paint to ship up here, after all. I think my biggest worry is... pink? Really? Pink? Neon, day-glow pink, huh? Why, buddy? Why?
So, you know, that's just a couple of examples. When you're tearing apart these derelicts, a lot of the lore of this universe is found by finding these little data packets and decoding them and finding what was on them, or the fragments of what was on these data packets. And from that, you get a view of this dystopian sort of world that we live in now. Look, some of these are just ads.
Do you like to eat food and drink beverages for free? Yes, free! Sound too good to be true?
Yeah, some of them are just ads. Some of them are like historical data. Some of them like the history of the railgate, which you can get there. What else we got? cartel. Yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff that you can find in there. And then the bit where you use to put the components in your ship, for some reason best known only to the devs, they've decided that the ship doctor part of this app, the app that you use for repairing your ship, has like porn music on it. I don't know why.
Hey there, I'm Shippy. I'm here to help you get this ship healthy again.
Great stuff. I don't know why that choice, and that's just my certification level. See, this is the levels. If you look at the bottom here, the levels at which you unlock certain ships. So at level 2, you do your basic training, which is just with items that they put out in the bay. Then you get level 2, so then you unlock mackerels, and there's the first ship class that you get. At level 4, you get the Atlas class. Level 5, you get the Javelin class. You get the Geckos way up at level 14. And there's a level 9. What's that for? I don't know what the 6s and 7s and this bit were. I don't know. Work, suit, integrity, unlock. Oh, right. They're just other unlocks, right. I can't remember anymore. Anyway. Let's see. Excuse me. Salvage runner. Oh my god, really? A lot of ghost ships in here today. Alright, let's continue that. I'm just trying to get that cargo the cargo gecko. I should have just got it when it first popped up. I didn't do one yesterday because by the time I started off with a smaller ship, and by the time actually one popped up, it was a bit too late. So the split saw will go a lot faster as long as you learn what you can cut through and what you can't. Right? So you can't cut through nanocarbon with the split saw anymore. They used to actually. There was a. That ad sounded like a Spacer's Choice ad from the Outer Worlds game. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there are a lot of those kind of ads. So yeah, you can't cut through nanocarbon anymore. Originally, what they'd done was among the upgrade. Oh, look at that! There's an AI node in the pilot seat. Cheeky bastard. So I was trying to feather it there so I could stop from. No, there's still another one somewhere. Oh, there's one. Once you get rid of all these, you'll notice the music in the headset will return. So I obviously haven't got rid of them all yet. There's another one on there, is there? No. Oh, there's one. There's a little bastard. So yeah, originally when you reached the maximum level of your split saw, the split saw would then, at max level, it would cut through anything. Even nanocarbon. And the result was nobody liked it because it basically stopped us from cutting a lot of stuff. Because stopped us from cutting it at speed. Jesus, how many more are there? Oops. Because, you know, you could go along and you can cut with the split saw for speed, but when it cut through nanocarbon, you couldn't just cut this cut point here, there, and everywhere, because it would just cut straight through anything that was behind it. And you would end up with just bits of confetti everywhere. It was awful. Oh, yeah, there's the level. There's the reactors on the lower deck. Oh, look. Hello, boys. We AI passengers. What is that? Thruster fuel. Oh. Just left a canister on board. I don't know where the other AI node is, though. Well, nodes. I assume there's a lot more than one. Oh, there they are. On the other side of this bulkhead. 4? What's on the other side of that that's so important? Let's go get him. Die, little AI nodes. Oh, still more somewhere. So you see how I just whipped through all those with a split saw? Because that is a nanocarbon panel, and the split saw can't cut nanocarbon. But when they first released the game... Hey, HJ! When they first released the game, the highest level of split saw upgrade would cut through nanocarbon, so I couldn't have done that quickly like that, because it would have just turned this ship into confetti. And the problem was that they gave you no way of rolling back the upgrade if you didn't like it. So there's no way to undo it. And so many people complained about it that eventually they just did away with it. You can hear another AI node somewhere. Let's thrust the tank. Oh, they're on the reactor, look. Yeah. AI nodes on the reactor. Right, okay. Well, let's... Whoosh. Where's the lower deck port then? Oh, it's there. There it is. Should probably... Oh, this could end in tears. No, we don't. No, we don't do that. Right. Let's see if we can... This is where you have potential for everything to go really wrong, because we're trying to melt AI nodes off the reactor. Stop. Ah, music's come back. So there you go. All the AI nodes are gone. Nobody likes ghost ships. They are shit. Right. Boosh. There we go. Reactor. Done. All that. Okay. Whew.
Material deposited.
Mm-hmm. Stupid. taking that whole fucking half of the ship with it. Boom. Go on, in you go. That's a good lad. Oh dear.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited. Salvage gains observed.
Shit.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Okay. Remove this plate. Ooh. Head off. Come out, you bleeder. Oh, for God's sake. Come on. There we go.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
All right.
What? Okay. Right, honey.
Got 5 minutes left of this ship.
5 minutes left of this shit before they turn the lights out on here.
We've wrapped.
There we go. Well, I am not coming back and doing another shift on this stupid ass ship.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Alright, there we go. Right, let's pull out some of these computers. I can just melt the floor and the ceiling away, then I'm going to pull them down this tunnel, but... So that's another thing. Like, there are certain ships and certain configurations that you benefit from melting the floor away. Particularly, you know, if it's only aluminium and it, you know, a massive panel, it's not really worth that much.
Salvage secured.
The station hopper Gecko is the one that comes to mind. Because there's a whole section of that where, you know, you can cut through the floor with a split saw, but it just makes a mess. And you end up going, where is that still attached?
Salvage secured. Account.
Because I used to just buzz straight through them with a split saw and cut a big square hole in the floor. But then after a while, you realise that sometimes that actually takes longer than simply going, oh no, that's... Well, unless when it's in sections like that, I guess you can't melt the entire panel off, but... Alright, let's pull these off with the tethers. Otherwise they're going to drive me nuts. No. Oh, for God's sake. You don't want that to work, do you? No. Through the gap. Oh, no. I was going to say nothing but net, but no.
Salvage secured. Credits.
Fortunately. Oh, shit. That's still attached. Come on, out you go. Out you go, all of you. Get out. Out. This is not a recognized Link's way of doing things.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Okay. That's not attached anymore, is it? No.
Object processed. Credits awarded.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh, there's another big piece. Shit. Let's get through that. Ah. Kaboom. They're all fecking. Oh, they're furnace. It's all aluminium. Boing. 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 I know that's a light, but I don't care. It's maybe not recognised, but it works. Yeah, I know. You'll find that quite a lot as you play on through this game. You find your own way of doing stuff. Like I said, the way that I pull the Class 2 reactor out of the big geckos is definitely not the way. I've never seen anybody else do it that way, but I've found it to be it's clean. That's what I like about it. It's the cleanest way of doing it. Oh, that's processor fuel, but I'm not sending it into the processor. I'm just going to send all this into the furnace now. Assuming that it'll get there in time. Only got 32 seconds to pull all that into the furnace. Go, 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 go. What are you asking about that? Come on. Oh, they're processor parts as well. Oh, I don't care. Nanocarbon. It's just all gone into the furnace now. Don't give a damn. It's never going to get there in time anyway. That's not going to burn up in 3 seconds. Never mind. I don't know why, but this music makes me want to play Red Dead. The music, I find, is I think a lot of their inspiration for the music came from Firefly, I reckon.
Hello, Shipbreaker 9346-52.
Inspirational message coming up.
I'd like to share the following inspirational message.
Go for it.
Make the most of your shift by fanning the tiny sparks of effort into flames of profitability.
Whatever. Whatever, lady. Whatever. Please tell me you've got something interesting now. No, still that salvage runner. And a bunch of those. Right, so here's what I'm going to do now, because I want to get myself a nice big cargo gecko. So what we're going to do is going to quit out of this game entirely. And then restart it. Boosh. And see if it will actually give us a decent cargo. I should have taken that one. Usually they're so common that both today and yesterday, I assumed that it would crop up more often than it has, but it didn't. What the fuck? Sorry, HJ, I'm just reading all your messages. Get explosive. Firefly's a great show. Yes, agreed. Absolutely agreed. Okay, career. Go back into career. Let's see what they'll give me this time.
Good morning, Cutter 9346-52. Links would like to share the following inspirational message. The greatest reward in life is the chance to work hard at work worth doing.
Yes. Salvage runner. Oh, come on! Traveling heavy cargo. Salvage runners are evil. That's actually, I think, probably my most hated ship in the game. The Gecko salvage runner. I absolutely despise those things. They're horrible. Not only are they, generally speaking, famously the most glitched ship in the game, because no matter how many updates they bring, the salvage runner's always got something wrong with it. But also, they're all sorts of weird, like, it's broken into a million tiny compartments full of crap, because they've been collecting salvage from the frontier, and you've got... Right. Let me go again. Let's do that again. The hardest ship in the game for salvage. I would say the Salvage Runner is probably the javelins, the big long javelins that you see there. They are the javelins. They're tough because they're put together in really peculiar ways. So getting them apart, like they're comprised of rings all the way down, right? And in some of those rings, like you've got two airlocks on one on either side, inside a ring going to a central core, right? Which is where the crew would be, right? Or the whatever science takes place or whatever. Anyway, pressurized compartments, right? Hey, Maple! How you doing? So the javelins that right. Let me just quit out this again. I'm gonna see if I can get a goddamn driving me nuts that I can't get one of those. Right. Updated the drivers as well today on the audio interface. So far so good. We haven't had any audio cutouts, but. So the javelins, they're comprised of rings, and in some places they're just attached to the rest of the ship in a really, really weird way. So one example is that you've got the outer nanocarbon ring, which is all one piece, right? And then you've got a central core, which is the crew compartment, and then it's attached by an airlock on either side, right? And the airlocks are held in place by rings that go this way. So even though you can loosen that ring, you can't actually separate it from the rest because all of that stuff needs to go to different places. You've got aluminium in the center and all the computer terminals and everything that are in it. And then you've got nanocarbon on the outside. And then you've got bargeable stuff like the airlocks and the consoles inside the airlocks in the middle. But because this ring is holding it all in place, you can't cut through that. You can't separate it. And it makes a lot of it really, I don't know, untidy, I want to say. To salvage, just not neat. I don't like the lack of neatness.
Shipbreaker. Overnight genetic backup complete. Pattern deviation nominal. Have a good day.
Please give me something interesting. I'm not doing a massive javelin at this time. Gecko Salvage Runner again. Have they just given me the same damn ships? Are these exactly the same? All right, let's. Right, I'm going to give it one more go, and if I can't get that, we'll do a javelin. Right, we'll give it one more go, one more attempt, and if it won't give me anything like that this time, then we'll do a javelin, and then we'll call it a day. I hate that. Right. Come on, you bastard. Give us a decent ship. I mean, there are lots of stuff in there that's really good to do. And the next time one of those comes up, I'll just do it straight away rather than going, I'll do that in a minute. It seems to be the one ship class that they just keep removing from the list. Even when I've completed a ship, all the others are still there. But it refreshes the rest of the list so that one wasn't there when I went back. But when I want it to refresh the list all the time, it doesn't. Typically, of course. So when you come to this screen, by the way, I haven't mentioned this, but so this open ship, these are the different kinds of licenses that you can get, right? Currently, I'm on standard because that's the one I use most of the time. So you work on the clock, which means you get 15-minute shifts, like you've seen, but you have unlimited lives, so they'll just keep cloning you, right? Limited means you only get 30 lives for the entirety of the campaign, right? So I've died 3 times this time in this one of my standard licenses here. I've died 3 times. I'm maximum level, all my stuff's done, and I guess, I've paid off about a third of my debt. Right? Then you've got no revival at all. In that one, you only get 1 life. Now, usually I run 3 licenses at a time, or for the first couple of times we reset, I ran a standard, a limited, and a no revival. I don't bother with the open shift because I can't see the point. Because you have unlimited lives and there's no shift timer, right? So if you're going to do that, you might as well just go into free play here, which is essentially the same thing. I don't know why. I don't know. It seems a bit pointless to me, but anyway. That's my 2 pennies. Come on, you stupid machine.
Shipbreaker 9346-52.
Give me some interesting ships in the yard.
Inspirational message. Some people dream of
Watch it be the same 6 or 7 ships again. Heavy duty cargo, Atlas patrol craft, station hopper, mackerel, salvage runner Gecko, roustabout tug, exo lab, javelin heavy cargo, mackerel heavy cargo, javelin tanker. All right, let's do this javelin tanker. This is one of the smaller javelins. But they can be a pain in the arse. I think this one still has a level 2. Right, so this is... Well, I guess it's full length, but... There's a lot of... Oh, no, it's got these damn fuel pods on. I hate those coolant tanks. Drive me bananas. Right. So the first thing I usually do on one of these is to separate the ion rings, because these things are worth quite a bit. And you've got to use demo charges, which, as hopefully you'll know by now, I hate. Buzzed. Right. I've got to go back to the kiosk because I realise I'm going to need demo charges, and I think I've almost run out. Also tethers. I've only got 16 tethers.
Tethers restored.
Right, so we want demo charges on these bits. Don't bother taking these apart. On these ion rings, a lot of people snap these because it makes the ion ring a little bit easier to salvage, but I don't worry too much about that. It'll go down like that as it is, so there's not really any point using any more than you need to. Boom, boom. I mean, this one's straightforward enough. You just send that straight down to the barge. 2 tethers will get it there quite quickly. This one is a bit more of a pain because you've got to get it to clear the front of the ship before you can drag it to the barge, but that usually does it. And then you can send it down to the barge. Once you clear the damn thing. There. Yeah, that'll do it. That should do. Right.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Let's go and see what the pressurization situation looks like in here. Ah. Oh, that's pressurized.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
That hasn't locked out the whole thing though, so we're still good. Okay, so this forward section is completely depressurized. That's good, and it looks like the rear section is. So this is a lower classification. It's like a hazard rank 7, so that's probably why. But here is the reactor, right? So this is a class 2 reactor, and that thing is worth 3 million credits all by itself. Okay, so I will show you in a minute how I remove that reactor, but the first thing we're going to do is take off all these coolant pods, because I hate having these things on. Right? See all the coolant pods, and you've got to basically go inside of there and cut away all the anchors holding them in place. The problem is, from under here, it's always quite difficult to see which ones have these on and which don't. I mean, you're still cutting away the things themselves. That goes to the barge, which that bit doesn't, so you've still got to cut them away, but I'm going to be a bit careful doing this. I've had quite a few accidents doing this with the split saw, especially on the fuel javelins, where these are massive, massive tanks of fuel, and instead of these little coolant pods. So I rupture one of these at the moment. It's not the end of the world. They're just coolant pods. They'll do a bit of damage, but if you do it on the big fuel tankers, that's it. You've blown half the ship apart. So yeah, I pulled that split saw to the left a little bit there before I made that cut, because if I'd left it where it was, the edge of it there, see the dotted lines, would have pierced that coolant tank. It's close. Oh, here's mine and Amki's song again. This is... So you can just send that one straight down to the barge. That's no problem. These ones at the bottom, just blast them off. Easy. But the other ones, not quite so easy.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
It's careless.
Salvage secured.
Ah. There we go. Nah, no. Ooh. Yeah, see, I got a bit careless there. I was getting a bit cocky, I think. Oops. Sorry, I'm going to need to cut through that later on anyway. One of the things I hate about this is that whole framework there. That's got to be... Shit, I just blasted away and emptied one of those. Shouldn't have done that.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credit transferred.
Okay. Up you come, buddy.
Salvage secured. Credit.
I get to loosen that now. All right.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Oh dear.
Credit transferred.
I'm a bit far away here now.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Ah, god damn it. Off.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credit transferred.
Come on. Right, I think.
Salvage secured. Credit deposited.
Think that's all the coolant pods. I do usually miss one at least. Oh, there's that thing that I blasted out. There you go. There's extra one of those. Don't think. Oh, there we go.
Credit transferred.
Right. So that's that.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
This Oops. There we go. Well, that was clumsy. Let's cut through the interlink. Oh. I failed to cut through it. And then we'll go and deal with that reactor. You got to watch your tool, especially in the beginning. I mean, this is not something you need to tell people, because when you start the game, you watch the temperature of your cutter will rise. Like I said, I've got all the upgrades that you can get for it, so it's, you know, you don't. Oh, we'll get rid of the ion ring first, and those antennae. But. Oop. At the beginning.
5 minutes remaining in this shift.
Thank you, Weaver.
Get in while the getting's good.
I'm doing my best, buddy. Oops. Okay. Oh shit. Let's loosen the frame. No! Oh, god damn it. That's right, I haven't put the demo charges on, have I? Stupid boy. That's me trying to skip a step. Which is why the frame's loose, but the ion ring isn't. Because I missed a step. And there as well, I think. For these antennae, there's one at the bottom, one at the top. Boom, 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 boom.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
There you go. Ion ring out of the way. Pull this thing to one side. Try not to get hit in the face by it. Whoops. That's the other ion ring to the back.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Trying not to get into the furnace. Jesus. Oh, it's because I moved the back end. All right. Made a cock up of that. Right. Pull off the thruster cap. Oh, no. Don't pull off the thruster cap. That was... Nearly made a mistake. Go inside and disconnect the fuel. Disconnect the thruster from the reactor first.
Salvage secured.
Look at this mess.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
There we go. Pull that off.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
We don't need that. Right, now, assuming I can get past the reactor, which I might not be able to do. Oh, I can. Yeah, see? You can sometimes get through by Spider-Manning through the gaps there. Okay, there we go. Let's shut the fuel off. So now we should be able to burn that away. Oh no, I don't want to do that because I want to pull that out. Oh no, yeah I do. There we go. We'll pull that off. Okay. Yoink.
1 minute left, Cutter.
I got you, Weaver. Don't worry about it, buddy. Ah. Where's the cut point? What? Oh, there you go. Thruster cap and everything. Sometimes with the bigger pieces, I'll put a tether up there to the jack so that the furnace doesn't eat it as it goes past. And then, once it's past, you can just cut that and then put that in there and it'll go in there fine. See? No problem. Pull this thruster out, see if we can salvage this before the time goes. Come on, baby. Boom. Thruster salvage. Right, done. So that's one shift. 3,770,956 I made on that one shift. And even so, like, that was not a particularly fast run. It was faster than I've been doing today, but it was not particularly speedy. We shall see how quickly we can strip this down.
346-52. Today's weather report.
One at this level, because the thing is, what allowed us to get on with it a bit more quickly and without the mess was that it was completely depressurized. So, as I said before, at the higher levels, the hazard levels like 8 and 9, like you have there, see? The atmospheric regulators inside the ships don't work. They're all broken above level 8, I think, but certainly at level 9. They're all broken. None of them work. And they just did that to make things more difficult. But the problem was, it didn't just make things more difficult. On some of the ships, it made it impossible, depending on the situation and the ship and the cargo that's in it and what's floating around and where the doors are and stuff like that. What it did was it created certain situations in which depressurizing the ship safely was impossible. Not just difficult, they just made it impossible. So you'd lose a bunch of stuff. Hey, Daniel, welcome back, buddy. Good to see you. So you'd lose a bunch of stuff, but now, apparently, with the update on Tuesday, Elliot Hudson, I think, the game director, the creative director, was saying that he was having a rethink of things, and basically the whole team was having a rethink and thinking about how they could still make it difficult to depressurize ships at the top end, but not impossible, but never impossible to do it safely. So there's always a way. You've just got to figure out what it is, and I like that. Right, let's get this reactor out. I don't need any more tethers. We're good.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Right now. Let me take that out for a start. That out of the way. A trick that you kind of learn as you go along, if you don't, is that this, even though that's red when you pull it to there, right, it'll still work, so it's still attached. So you can kind of grab that and just give it a bit of a push to get it out of the way if you just want to clear it, right? And then, but make sure that it clears the furnace, because that thing is a hungry beast. Right, now let's see if we can... No, I'll do it with a stinger. Right, so I should stress, again, this is how...
Processing valuable object.
This is one of the ways that I get the reactor safely out of these ships. But I'm sure it's not. Well, I know for a fact it's not the way everybody does it. They'll go about it different ways, but with the javelins and their sort of ring configurations that they've got, I find that the easiest way to get these Class 2 reactors out is to remove anything that will sort of snag it from the side. So like this, see there's lights down there that will snag this thing. If I can get through. Right, so there's a light. Oh, can't get through it this time.
Valuable object processed.
I went through the bottom. Anyway, that shouldn't snag it, but it might. So what I'm going to try to do, because the grey box that you can see at the back there, which I'll show you, that's the ECU, right? So the environmental control unit is here. Inside this thing, right? So there is coolant in those tanks coming from the ECU to the reactor, and you can hear it going through the line. Look, if you put your hand on it. Hear that? Now, they put these lights on. Eventually, they put these lights on so that you could more easily tell whether there is fuel or coolant in the line. But you always used to be able to hope that the switch had turned it off, but you could double check by just putting your hand on it. And because you're out in space, you know the sound doesn't travel through a vacuum. But if you put your hand on it, vibrations travel through your suit and you can hear... So you can hear the coolant going through the line, which I think is great. But the coolant is keeping the reactor from going into meltdown, right? So the received wisdom about how to do this is to remove the coolant tanks, right? And make sure that this is in a clear position so that you can get... As soon as you remove the coolant tanks, the reactor will go into meltdown. So then you need to get it down to the barge fast before it melts down. But you don't necessarily need to disconnect the coolant line. You can just send it there. As long as you send it there fast, you can just disconnect it. And on these ships, I find that as long as you remove a lot of the obstacles, right, that pipe is actually sturdy enough that I can now go back outside. And I'll show you why I do this in a minute, right? Because I find that it's the cleanest and most efficient, easiest way to do it, rather, you know, cleanest and safest. The reason I remove those obstructions from the side is because this the ECU is square and it's going through this hexagonal bit, and this can be a little bit tricky. You sort of got to wiggle it a bit to get it out, but now that I've released all that, right, that should just pull out. Problem is that the ECU will snag on the braces. So you've just got to wiggle it a little bit here and there. Unless you do a very straight pull the first time, which is not likely. I don't think so. I think it's snagged somewhere. Yeah. Well, that should free it a bit. Right. No, it's snagged again. If I go inside and push it instead. Because that reactor, on its own, is worth 3 million credits. So, obviously, it is in our best interests to get it out cleanly. That's snagged on the top now, probably. There we go. Right. That's far enough. If I get it to stop rotating, just hold it here with your brakes on. Okay. Hold it there with the brakes on. Right now, this casing, these bits of casing come apart, right? So you can pull these off quite easily. Try not to, when you've got your reactor in position, try not to move while you're doing this. Right, don't move your sticks, because if you move, the reactor will move. Or if you just hold that and pull it off, the reactor should stay in place. Right, send those into the processor. Right, like that. But what I love about it is that there are different ways, depending on the ship configuration and what class of ship you're at, and what kind of reactor it's got. The class 1 reactors are not really a problem, but depending on the configuration of the ship, the reactor will be differently oriented, and it will be in a different part of the ship, and there will be different difficulties that you'll have to overcome with getting the reactor out cleanly. For example, if you tried to pull this out and you've got computer consoles everywhere and fuel tanks, and you tried to pull the reactor out, the first thing it will do, if you haven't got a clean pull, is it will arc all over the place, which will explode the fuel tanks and the reactor. You'll die, and the ship will just be confetti all over the yard. So it's not ideal. Actually, don't want to do that, sorry. I don't want it to pull that and then snag it, so... Right, there we go. Reactor meltdown has begun. You see how it arced across to the frame there? And snapped that piece of frame in half, look. See the damage it did there? But there you go. See? Now we're free and clear. Now we can take out these fuel tanks. But you see the damage that the reactor arcing did there. So if you do that and it's not clear, you haven't got it free, it will continue to do that and it will get worse. So it will start to arc all over the place, and that will destroy equipment. It will explode fuel tanks. It will do all sorts of damage. So you don't want to do that. All right, let me cut it off there. Well, actually, no. If I cut it off there, because the whole thing's going into the processor anyway. So, oh, there we go. Come on, there's a good little reactor plate. See me twisting and turning. Oh yes, I am one of those gamers who leans when he goes around corners in a driving game. And salvage the ECU, which is worth on its own 250,000 credits. So there you go. We've just salvaged the majority of the really expensive stuff. Now we have removed ion rings, reactor, all the most pricey stuff has now been taken off this ship. Now we just got to separate all the nanocarbon, because the nanocarbon is of the ship's shell. The nanocarbon is the bit that is worth the most. The aluminium is worth nothing, really. Tis worth barely a damn thing. No. There we go. Split saw through that. Right, but this ring now is attached to this damn frame, which this pisses me off. I hate this crap. It doesn't matter, because that's all going to the processor anyway, but it just winds me up. Oops. Now, you see this bit here says it needs to go to the furnace, right?
You got 5 minutes left.
And the rest of it needs to go to the processor. But as a general rule, this doesn't always work, but as a general rule to follow, stuff that is furnaceable, stuff that needs to go to the furnace is worth way less than stuff that needs to go into the processor. Not always. You know, once you get down to the smaller components, that's not necessarily true. But if it's got furnaceable stuff that's going to be a pain to remove, just say to hell with it and send every single component into the processor with the nanocarbon, because it's just going to save you so much time. And honestly, the time you spend trying to separate all that other stuff... Oh, I could probably take that off, though. Oh, although that is separated.
Salvage.
There's another component up there that doesn't do that, but this one has. So that's separated itself. But
Valuable object.
there's see, as you get into these little bits of frames, and I've got to use the demo chargers to take those apart. There's bits of it that's just a pain in the ass, and they won't separate without melting entire bulkheads. But that one did, so that's happy. Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Pick these up. And obviously, you know, little time-saving things like that speak for themselves, or I would think. Which is like if you've got stuff that's stacked on top of units and you need to separate them all, just take the bottom one off and the rest of them will come off. The rest of them will just float free. Oh look, data drive. So these posters, if you collect these, you can decorate your hab with them, but I've collected most of those before. I'm loosening all of this stuff so that it all just floats free once I'm ready for it to do so. Okay. I hate that because you get to melt through this thing a lot of the time to get that out, but it cuts. You just melt the damn thing off. There we go. It's cleaner, isn't it? Right, I'm gonna go in there. Whoosh. Boosh. There you go. Good shot. Good shot, old boy.
Valuable object.
Right.
Credits deposit.
Oh, cockpit. Let's go do that. Okay, that thing's a pain in the ass. Pull. Yo ho. All together. Come on, there you go. You can do it. Oh, right, the power generator. I haven't done one of those yet. Right, I'll show you that.
Cause we're getting down to the wire.
Well,
Let's put a bow on.
when I come back out in a second, I'll show you that. I think I cut that too soon. There we go. Boosh. Oh, for God's sake. Come on. There you go.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Right. See the power generator there has... Oh, well, I'll show you when we come back out. So 4.8 million, near enough, I made in that shift. And most of that was the reactor. Good morning, Shipbreaker.
Good morning, Shipbreaker. Lynx mandates a maximum of 8 hours of sleep. Any extra sleep time will be docked from the next pay cycle.
Screw you, Control. Oops. So now, let's just do a quick check of the equipment. Okie dokie. Right. We've got 20 tethers left. I'll remedy that. So the power generator has got around the ship here. You'll find three fuses, right? The first one is easy enough to release. You have to release it when the red lights are out. Turn this handle when the red lights are out. The first one's easy, right? But with each one you release, that gets faster. And the third one, I almost always mess up. Sometimes the second one, too. Oh, stay still. Okay, so that's 2. You collect the fuse. But this one, I quite often get the timing of this wrong. Oh no. Alright, today we did it. So now, once you've done that, you'll see all those lights are now green, where they were red before, right? Disconnect all the fuses, and then your power generator will come away, and you can send it down to the barge. Bing! And there you go.
Salvage secured.
Over 250,000 credits. Right, let's cut through these. Carefully, actually. Oh, god damn it. Oh, there we go. See, that's me trying to see round corners in a two-dimensional. So this is one of the things I was talking about before, right? So here, you've got a central structure. I'll go outside and show you in a sec. Sorry, I'm confused because I'm not sure I've heard that music before, which is weird. Right, so look. So you've got a central structure there, and then this ring is solid all but that plate. Now that plate that comes out, it doesn't mean it's big enough to go over this central unit. So then you've got a ring that's locked in place by a plate, and then this, which when it's just one, right, because that one will come away with that plate. That's no problem. So when it's just one, it's not a problem, because you've got enough space, if you see what I mean, at the bottom to allow you to lift the ring up and extract the airlock interlink so that you can move the ring off. But sometimes those airlocks are opposite one another, and with the ring solid, it makes it really difficult to take apart. It's a pain. But other than that, these are fun. Right, cockpit. Take off these buckles here. Disconnect all this stuff. Just back. There we go. Poster. Terminals. And then panel should be free now. Yep, whoop, there we go. There we go. Send these down to the barge. Over the Moon Brewery. Atmospheric regulator that actually does seem to work, but we didn't need.
secured.
Whee!
Deposited.
And then, actually, I find this is like... See that section underneath the footplate?
Account credit applied.
It's like the crap down the side. This bottle, by the way, you don't get anything for this. But you get a sticker when you get a sticker for your little thing there when you salvage so many of those. Under here, I find there's all sorts of crap that collects under this footwell. Right. Now... Oh. I'll remove that.
Salvage deposit
Whee.
accepted. Credit is transferred.
Oops. That was drifting a bit into the processor there. Oh, for God's sake. Just go already. It was an ordeal.
Ship salvaged in full. Credit applied to cutter account.
So there you go. Now it says ship salvaged in full. I mean, I don't know why it says that when you haven't salvaged the entire ship, but that's what they consider to be a full salvage. But we keep going if we want all the juicy goodies that are still in the thing.
Credit awarded.
First, we separate this from that. There we go. Oop. Okie. Oh. Can you see the shadow? The shadow that has just fallen over us means that the Polaris super freighter has arrived. Look, there it is. It's coming. So that's a super freighter that comes. Can you hear it grinding to a halt? Braking. You can hear stuff vibrating. I love it. As it grinds to a halt alongside the conveyor, everything starts to sort of rattle. There you go. So that thing, you know, sporadically sort of turns up to collect all the stuff that you've been salvaging. And it just goes and does the cycle of all the other stations before taking them where, I don't know, through the rail gate or somewhere, I've no idea. Right, so that's released this frame, but now we've got these stupid damn things, which I hate. Let me get these damn things off. Oosh. You see? So that, you've got one panel there that comes out. On this one, that's not so bad. Right? And then, you know, you've got your airlock interlink there.
Credit deposited.
But sometimes, like I say, you've got one directly opposite to the other, which is a massive pain because it won't let that ring release. Okay, there we go. That now. See? I mean, this one's not so bad, but when you get one on either side, I hate that. So that's what makes some of these a little bit more interesting to pull apart. There we go. Oopsie. Ah. There we go.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, you got 5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter.
Thank you, Weaver.
We wrap.
I always say salvage those airlock consoles that are inside there that you can see, but it's going to the same place. They're both going to the barge, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to pull that apart.
Credits awarded.
Whee!
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
I must have accidentally cut through that bulkhead while I was doing all that. Oh, get off. Oh, see, like this thing? These are evil, because look. That goes to the furnace, but then you've got these two pieces here, these tiny little bits, and they go to the processor. I mean, just to demonstrate, I'm going to melt this down. Right, so then I've melted that down. That was worth 1526 credits. Right. But the nanocarbon little sticks that are on it are worth more than that. It's, you know, it's just stuff like that that you've got to kind of learn over time, I guess. There we go.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
There we go. Every now and again you just got to melt a wall down because it's easier to get to stuff than going through the doors all the time. $4,500 credits that wall was worth.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
But the stuff that's inside it that I can get to much more easily now is worth more. Not including this bloody stupid table. The wall I should have melted was that one. But this one's in sections, so it's a bit of a pain. Gotta watch the temperature of my cutter here, otherwise I'll if that overheats, that hurts. Almost set fire to those pads there. There we go. So that thing's for the furnace as well. Disconnect these. All right. Twist it a bit because all that stuff's going to go down to the barge. Whee! Oh, why bother with that? See, there you go. We've got it to turn down slightly. And I should be able to fire most of it through the bottom.
Alright, Cutter. Wrap it up. You got about a minute left.
See? Stuff like that. Now, you can just shoot straight through the bottom of the...
Credit applied.
Now that I've... Oh, that doesn't, but...
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Okay. I'm not going to get the rest of this done because I don't... That frame requires more demo charges than you can carry, actually, to separate that from the furnaceable stuff inside. That's processor. that's furnaceable, and to separate it, it requires more demo charges than you can carry, or it requires you to melt through all these kind of things one at a time, which, you know, is equally a pain in the ass. So that's it. We'll leave it at that. We got the majority of it anyway, so. If it was just me on my own, I'd go back in and do another one, but we're going to leave it there, I think. So we're going to end it. Now, I may be back on Monday with Shipbreaker again. I will definitely be back on Tuesday, depending on what time the game releases. I'll have to check that out, but depending on what time the game releases, assuming it releases in time for me to come on shift and start as soon as the game releases from the beginning, because I'll have been reset, then I will start that on Tuesday. But then, of course, a couple of days after that, Sniper Elite 5 releases, and I'll be playing some of that. But, you know, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes on things that are happening. Keep an eye on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, if you do Twitter, you can find me at Knights_Arcade over there. Or let's see if my Discord button will work. Of course it won't, because it doesn't. Don't know why. And I don't know if anybody's got the Discord link. But anybody out there's got the Discord link, throw it in the chat there. But if you can find me on Discord, see if I can actually bring one up. Since the chat's it's mostly empty now. Come on. Give me my sharey thing. Discord. Make it never run out. There we go. Generate new link. Copy. And I'll put that in there. Oh, thanks, HJ. There you go. HJ beat me to it. Bless him. Cheers, buddy. But yeah, you can. So if you're not in the Discord, you want to head over there and check that out. Please do so. And in there, I will keep you all up to date on, you know, what's coming up and what's happening, when I'm going live. I've got to move house again at some point in the next few months. We are in the process of buying a house, but something went a bit wrong with that process last week. So now we're seeing if that works out. But, you know, these kind of things happen when you're buying a house. But when we do, we'll be moving again. And that should be the last move for a very long time. So, you know, just follow me in the Discord or on Twitter, and you can keep up to date with all those things. And whatever I'm going to be playing next, I will put it in the Discord, and I'll let people know what I'm going to be doing. And occasionally there'll be multiplayer stuff on here, as always. But that is it for today. As I say, I may be back on Monday, but failing that, I'll be back on Tuesday anyway, when the game releases. But thanks for joining me. Thanks, HJ, for dropping by, as always. In fact, I'll probably see you in a minute, HJ. Thanks, Daniel, Mordred, Anatoly. Thanks for joining us in the arcade. It was great to have you with us. Thanks, Maple, for dropping by. Thanks, Kitters. Kitters dropped in today, look, bless. Thanks, Mini P, and everybody else that came today and joined in and watched the stream. I appreciate your support. It's always worthwhile. You know, it makes it worthwhile when you guys turn up and join in the chat and things. So thank you very much. But until next time, from Knights Arcade, this is Sleepless Night saying nighty-night.